Now at 6 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, a suspect from San Antonio faces criminal homicide charges in Victoria County.
Victoria police arrest a suspect from El Campo on 6 charges.
And you will hear from a candidate in the GOP State Representative District 30 runoff.
Another hot, humid day with temperatures getting to the 90s, and tonight, big stuff happening to the north. We're going to watch that very carefully because it is dropping to the southeast. We'll figure out if it's going to come into our neighborhood coming up in just a few minutes.
Plus, Zach Brown has your athlete of the week, who is also a Texas A&M Aggie commit. That's later in sports. You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia. A suspect from San Antonio was arrested by Victoria County deputies Wednesday. 38-year-old Gregory James is charged with criminal neglect homicide. He is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of a $60,000 bond.
Victoria police arrested a suspect from El Campo Wednesday. 4-year-old Jason Canales faces 6 charges, including manufacture and delivery of a controlled substance and unlawful carrying of a weapon by a convicted felon. He is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $152,850 bond. Cuero police arrested a 41-year-old suspect Tuesday. Jess Nygaard faces 5 charges, including manufacture and delivery of a controlled substance, theft of property, and burglary of a vehicle. He is in the DeWitt County Jail in lieu of $69,000 bond.
25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick spoke with the candidates in the District 30 race.
They stopped by the station earlier this week, and this evening Adarius will highlight A.J. Louderback. Adarius?
A.J. Louderback discussed his experience on the border and emphasized his plans for border security.
I mean, my record stands clear, very clear, as to exactly what I've been for and exactly what I've advocated for.
After 40 years of law experience and living in this area his whole life, Louderback decided to throw his cowboy hat in the race for District 30. His earlier mentioned experience mostly focused on border control. However, his opponent's campaign made claims of Louderback attempting to defund Operation Lone Star.
They're just wrong. They're just wrong. This is a ridiculous assertion that I would be a part of any kind of issue like that.
We asked Louderback about the balance of the First Amendment and his views on social issues such as LGBTQ literature.
Someone had to sit down and order those books and bring them into the library, which means it's not a First Amendment issue at all. It was a choice. It was a choice made.
Louderback says his main goal is the public safety of this community, including border and social issues. A.J. Louderback faces former Victoria Mayor Jeff Bouknight in this race. We plan to highlight Bouknight on 25 News Now Friday. Don and Karina, back to you.
Adarius, thank you. Here's your viewer poll this evening. You can scan that QR code right there on your screen to vote. The question is, which form of communication sways your vote the most? According to our results, it looks like 96% stand it neither, 1% say mailers, and 3% say text messages. We want to hear your opinion on this. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 10. And now let's take a look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez.
Mac today spoke at a place that I've been many, many times over the years. How was it at St. Joseph High School, Mac?
It was very nice. You know, the kids are sort of wrapping up the year, and I was the entertainment there at the end of the year, so had a great time talking to the government class there. So thanks for St. Joe's for inviting me out. Well, tonight, of course, we only dealt with the heat and the humidity today. Tonight, however, things are going to be really interesting. Notice all this area in red is a tornado watch. This area is severe thunderstorms, and they're getting awful close to the I-35 corridor. I just think we're going to be watching this stuff for a long time tonight. We'll be talking about that and taking a look at your weekend. It's coming up in a few minutes.
Mac, thank you. A new email on the Houston Police Department scandal was the final straw for Chief Troy Finner. He unexpectedly retired from the force Tuesday.
Yeah, the move came amid questions about a department policy that allowed hundreds of thousands of cases to be suspended since 2016, citing lack of personnel.
Our job is to protect the public. It's to be out there, to be available, to try to make a difference for those people who have no one else to look out for them.
Larry Satterwhite telling Houstonians about the way he polices the streets. The new acting chief taking over in the midst of scandal. An internal affairs investigation going on into the department, suspending criminal cases, including sexual and major assaults.
There was a lot of cases miscoded, but I think it's very important to state that even with all of that, we still have real victims.
The internal affairs investigation is now taking longer because of this complaint letter by Executive Assistant Chief Chandra Hatcher to now former Chief Troy Finner. It kicked off the suspended cases investigation. But now there are questions by HPD investigators into the claims made by Hatcher in the letter. I asked Satterwhite about her status.
I have a fantastic relationship with Chief Hatcher, and I believe her heart is absolutely in the right place and always trying to do the right thing. Big heart. I know her. I think we have to wait and see how she explains that.
Satterwhite said he would be honored to take the permanent reins as chief, but he says there could be a strong desire by the department to bring in someone from the outside. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene called for the vote to oust Speaker Mike Johnson, but lawmakers quickly rejected it. Greene pressed ahead Wednesday with her effort despite pushback from Republicans. Greene wants to scold Johnson after the passage of a foreign aid package with funds for Ukraine as it fights Russia. Democrats, led by Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, said they would vote to table Greene's effort, saving Johnson's job for now.
Yeah, and U.S. Representative District 27 Michael Cloud voted in favor of tabling a motion to vacate Speaker Johnson. In a statement, Congressman Cloud said, quote, "While I may disagree with our leadership, I just as strongly believe that a motion to vacate at this moment in time will not serve to help save our country," unquote. By a vote of 359 to 43, the House voted to table the motion.
Two political consultants agreed to plead guilty to charges that they conspired with U.S. Representative Henry Cuellar to launder more than $200,000 in bribes from a Mexican bank. The Texas Tribune reports court documents show the consultants are cooperating with the Justice Department in its case against the Laredo Democrat. Cuellar was indicted with his wife, Imelda, on charges of accepting almost $600,000 in bribes from Azerbaijan and a Mexican bank. Cuellar says he is innocent.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton started the Landowner Compensation Program for Texans affected by border-related crimes. The program will provide compensation for damage to property on agricultural land caused by trespass in connection with a border crime. Landowners who have experienced damage can be reimbursed for repair costs not covered by other sources, such as to a damaged fence or barn, for up to $75,000 in damages. Now, Texas House Speaker Dade Phelan is directing House leaders to revisit vouchers and property taxes at the next legislative session. The Beaumont Republican issued his interim charges even as it remains unclear whether he'll be re-elected. Phelan wants to examine the use of school voucher-like programs in other states. Phelan faces a runoff election for his House seat come May 28th.
Part of Crestwood Drive will be closed Friday morning. Crestwood will close between Navarro and Main Streets for paving operations from 3 to 7 a.m. All businesses and homes in the construction zone will remain accessible. The construction is part of the Crestwood Drive Phase 3 reconstruction project.
May 14th will mark 21 years since the killing of 19 undocumented immigrants at Fleming Prairie Road near U.S. Highway 77. The 19 people died inside the back of a hot-packed tractor trailer. A total of 70 people were found inside the truck, which reached 173 degrees. Among those found dead were a teen and a 5-year-old boy. Every year since the tragedy, family members, friends, and the community gather to honor the lives lost. Saturday, May 18th at noon, a group will gather at Fleming Prairie Road and U.S. Highway 77. That's the Refugio Highway, to remember the victims.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. A San Antonio man was handcuffed by police at the wrong address. That's coming up on 25 News Now at 6.
Also ahead, a San Marcos man who carried a gun on the UT campus during a protest is charged with a felony.
In San Antonio, police are accused of tackling a man to the ground inside his own home and detaining him.
The officers were looking for a suspect, but they were at the wrong residence.
We don't usually have guests or anybody coming over that late.
Alex Delgado and his girlfriend were not expecting visitors at their Southeast Side home in late February when 3 San Antonio police officers appeared at their door after 9 o'clock. Portions of the encounter captured on Delgado's Ring doorbell camera.
I got a call. Somebody broke into your garage.
Probationary officers Rogelio Guillen and Serena Rodriguez and Officer Bless Aker, seen shining a light in Delgado's eyes, were searching for a man with a domestic violence warrant who may have broken into a garage.
The atmosphere is calm. I'm relaxed. I'm answering questions. I'm being compliant.
Can you get the light on my face, please?
The situation quickly escalated and spilled from Delgado's entryway into his home. He says the 2 male officers grabbed his arms.
And then Aker, he kicks my legs from underneath me. I fall, I land on both my knees, and I'm on my hands.
Delgado suffered a bruised arm and a cut and swelling to one of his knees. Surveillance video shows Delgado being led from the home in handcuffs, Guillen holding a gun that was on Delgado when he was detained. Once outside, officers determined they were supposed to respond to the home next door and release Delgado without even taking a statement. Delgado said the officers' actions, particularly those from Aker, were out of line.
This guy's like, to me, he's deranged. Like he's out of his mind. He's out of control.
Getting SAPD's version of what happened has been no easy feat. The department confirmed Guillen and Rodriguez are recent graduates of the academy and still probationary officers. None of the 3 have any disciplinary files on record. SAPD blocked the release of 911 audio from that night, as well as body and dashboard camera footage. After KSAT asked for a copy of any use of force reports from the incident, we were told no responsive documents exist.
They didn't apologize at all. I didn't expect them to basically attack me.
Delgado says he's installed additional cameras and locks on his property because he no longer feels safe from the police.
The parents of a pro cyclist who was murdered by Caitlin Armstrong filed a lawsuit against Armstrong. Mariah Mo Wilson was shot and killed in Austin in May of 2022. Last November, a Travis County jury found Armstrong guilty of murder in Wilson's death. Armstrong was sentenced to 90 years in prison. In the lawsuit, Eric and Karen Wilson asked for $1 million in damages after their daughter's death caused mental anguish.
A San Marcos man is charged with a felony for having a gun while protesting at the University of Texas at Austin. 26-year-old Michael Mawley faces a third-degree felony charge of bringing a weapon where it's prohibited. The man had a loaded gun in his waistband unholstered, 2 loaded magazines, and a pocket knife. One of the officers took the gun from him and located 1 bullet in the chamber. The man did not have a license to carry, which is required by someone in possession of a firearm at a public university in Texas.
A man's passion project is soothing the grief of some families.
Yeah, he is trying to help after a tornado devastated an Iowa neighborhood.
In the gut, just seeing something like that, you know.
Broken, tipped over, and covered debris.
Seen this big old tree down, and then I checked over here and I realized my uncle Rich and Aunt Harriet's stone had completely fallen over.
Dozens of headstones, each weighing hundreds of pounds, were toppled by a tornado April 26th.
Just very devastating to see all the damage that was done.
But then,
my social media account started to blow up, and then private messages, and they need your help.
after learning a tornado decimated the Oakwood Cemetery in Pleasant Hill, Kelly Pinman Jr. set out to fix them.
It's brought a lot of emotion out, and we're just trying to help them get through that. So I think the quote was, it's like it happened all over again, the death or the loss. There's been some tears and there's been some hugs. We just keep trying to help those people get through it. We're going down.
Big relief, not just for my own families, but a lot of the other ones around here.
All right, there we go.
Giving peace of mind to their loved ones as they rebuild.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. For us, a hot and steamy day, but up north in North Texas, in fact, along I-35, there's some big stuff happening that we're going to have to watch all night. 88 degrees right about now. It feels like 100. The peak heat index today got up to 105, which is almost at threat level. And our actual high was 91. We're going to have to correct that. But, pardon me, for the tomorrow, we get a north wind, and that's going to help us out. By the time we get to the weekend, we'll have all that coming up in a moment. Another hot and hazy day, but I think things will be changing as we now get closer to the weekend. Tonight, we've got a weak little frontal system just moving in, and you can see the huge stuff that is triggering up in North Texas. This is another night, like they've had many, of severe weather. In fact, I believe we've now been 4 or 5 nights where we've had over 100 reports of possible tornado damage. So, you know, it's a springtime thing, and it has really been a problem. 2 areas that we have watched, this one and this one. This is that last cold winter storm that's up there. That should be moving out as well, but this activity will be affecting Texas tonight. Now let's go see, of course, nothing happening here in our area, but it's one of those nights where it happens over there and then it drifts in this direction. Here's I-35 right there. Here is Mason and Llano and Brady and those areas, and that's coming down. And this is a huge, big supercell right about there. You can see it with the big purple top. Other one right about there is headed toward Waco, and that'll be there within an hour. Now, all this stuff then crosses over the 35 corridor, and then we have to watch to see which way it goes. So this in the yellow is a severe thunderstorm watch. In the red, it's actually a tornado watch, so they have to be very cautious up there. For tomorrow, again, not so much for us, but for everyone in deep South Texas, they've got a heat advisory for heat and humidity. But by tomorrow, we're going to pick up a little bit of a north wind sometime during the day, maybe about noontime, and that north wind will start clearing up the air, giving us a north wind, clearing us up, and maybe giving us a good Saturday before then things get a little interesting. The reason they get interesting is because you see this front, it's very, very light, but it is going to pass our area. We're going to have a north wind by Friday night and into Saturday. And then it's down there for about a day or so, and then all of a sudden it starts backing up as a warm front, and when it backs up, it's going to pull all that Gulf moisture back in, and so by the time we get to Sunday, we have that to give us a pretty good chance of rain, something we haven't seen in quite some time. Now tonight, here's the severe weather, exactly where it's located. It is coming south, and it's going to be crossing across 35 into East Texas. Here's I-10 corridor. You can see how it gets pretty close, and so we're going to watch it very carefully because even though it will start to decrease, there'll be something around our area. And this is tomorrow. This is tomorrow as the little front drifts south. It'll still have some shower activity generally out to the west, and that would be on Friday. Now, like I said, I think your Saturday is going to be good. It's Sunday when the rain begins, but here's tonight. Here's that big thing crossing over. You can see how it gets right down, bowing down to about I-10, and then it actually crosses. I mean, the leftover or the tail end of it crosses through and gets very close to our region. So let's just say, just keep your eyes on the weather. And if you're driving northbound, just check in, and we'll certainly have the latest for you. And then as we get into Friday, you can see how we have less of a chance of any shower activity until we get to Sunday. That's a good one. Looking at partly cloudy tomorrow with an 88 as a high down along the coast. Partly cloudy again with an 86 out in western areas. And then, as I said, your Saturday will be good. Your Sunday will have a chance for rain. So will Monday. And we've got to keep our fingers crossed because we haven't seen any of that in a while. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Karina.
Thank you, Mac. And Refugio boys just three-peated in state, and the UIL's Athlete of the Week is also our athlete, or rather the Athlete of the Meet is also our Athlete of the Week. Zab Brown has that coming up in your sports. The state UIL track and field meets were this past weekend, and your athlete of the week was also the athlete of the meet for the UIL in Austin.
Our Zach Brown caught up with Ernest "The Flash" Campbell after his historic Refugio Bobcat playing time.
The Refugio girls tied for first at the state UIL track meet, and the boys just went back to back to back. And senior Ernest "The Flash" Campbell was a key piece of that team and four-peated in the 100-meter dash, and he counted it out for you as he crossed the finish line. He never lost in that event in his Bobcat career. He's not a bad man to have anchor your team in the relays either. Watch as John Henry celebrates seconds after handing off the baton, and when Ernest crossed the finish line to cap another first-place finish, he held his arms out. This is what they expected to do at the state meets, and Ernest wouldn't want to do it with any other teammates.
I was talking to my friends, pretty much my brothers. We're going to celebrate right now and hopefully win the state meet and then cry when we leave, because it's just been a great 4 years with them, and I wouldn't do it with nobody else but them.
Ernest has made Austin a second home since his freshman year, winning countless medals in track, and after he ran his final event in a Refugio uniform, he had a chance to reflect on what he's accomplished.
Just blessed that God gave me an opportunity just to, through my whole 4 years, just run at Mike Myers Stadium, and I want to thank my mom and my dad, because I wouldn't be here without them, and my family that helped me, get me all the way here, and to compete with my brothers. So it was a great and amazing experience throughout my 4 years.
And while he's made Austin his second home, he will be taking his incredible talent to College Station to join the Aggies and play SEC football, where he's going to join so many other Crossroads athletes.
I just have to put in the work effort to show my skills to the SEC, all the colleges that recruited me, so it was just a blessing and an opportunity that God gave me. Yes, sir. It's just small town football, so I'm not the only one to be there. That's small town football. I have Dalton Brooks, especially because he's 2A, Terry Basie 2A, so it's small town football is going to be on the come up in a couple years.
Congrats to the entire Refugio Bobcat program, the boys and girls, and congrats to Ernest Campbell on an outstanding Refugio career that saw him become a 4-star receiver and an elite track star, and he will be doing both for the Texas A&M Aggies. Gig 'em and good luck to the Flash after a historic Refugio career.
Alrighty, thank you, Zach. We're going to be back in a moment. On Senior Day, an Ohio high school baseball player played all 9 positions on the field in just 7 innings.
Tonight, Ohio high school baseball player Michael Patelis did something not every baseball player can do, and that's play all 9 positions in one game. He did in the Canfield Cardinals' final home game of the regular season. Patelis started the game at third base, played all the infield positions, then he moved to the outfield after each pitch moved to a different field. He came in to pitch and ended the game by catching, and the pitcher then was his freshman brother. The Cardinals won the game 14-8. Patelis had 2 hits and 4 RBIs. That game was, maybe he would have been happy if it had just rained out. You know, then
well, at least he didn't slide into home and call himself out.
Well, yeah, that's right.
That would have been hard.
Are we having rain coming?
Well, we've got big stuff in North Texas. It is drifting southward, and it's one of those nights where we just have to keep our eyes north because we've got big activity crossing 35. So possibility that we'll get some tonight, but then looking better for the weekend.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you back here tonight at 10.